Welcome back to the Rick Smith Show. Now, here is Rick Smith.
So the fun continues in Florida as evidently the Florida Department of Health and Human Services is asking for another 300 ventilators. Evidently, their COVID numbers are going through the roof. In fact, I think it was almost 60,000 new cases in the last 2 days. Another story: they've bought some new death trailers, some mobile morgues, because they're anticipating a bunch more dead people that they can't possibly deal with. And you still got the governor going, "Hey, we're going to be fine. We're going to tough it right out. And if you school districts, if you make those kids wear masks, we're not going to pay you." It's crazy. Just crazy what we're seeing down there. And here to share some thoughts on the insanity, I've asked Trae Crowder to come talk with us. Trae is a fabulous comedian, also the liberal net redneck. You make sure you check out his website, TraeCrowder.com, and also his YouTube page. Trae, thanks for taking time for us.
Hey, Rick, good to see you. Good to be back.
So the Sunshine State is bringing in more mobile death labs, and we need more ventilators.
Yeah, no, I heard you say that. You know, back in my day, a death trailer was one that got blown up by my Uncle Bubbles while trying to make meth. You know, like this is a whole new world we live in now. Like death trailers, that's upsetting.
But here's the thing, and this is, and I think, and I feel horrible that I think this way, but I don't care.
I know, dude, honestly, I completely hear you, and I'm with you on that. Since the vaccines came out, and since they reached a point, which this was months ago now, they reached a point where every adult in this country who wanted one could have gotten them both by that point. In my head, I got to a place where I was like, okay, so we're good to go then. You know what I mean? Meaning, like, you've had the choice to make, and if you're rolling the dice on it, then you've done that. But the rest of us need to be able to go back to living our lives, and I just can't have that much sympathy for them. But as is always the case with the world, it makes it harder to be okay with things, because I have children, 2 boys, 8 and 9 years old, and as I understand it, thanks to the Delta variant and the great state of Florida, it's not as much of a done deal as it used to be as far as kids being safe from this thing or whatnot, which kind of changes the landscape a little bit. These people's decisions are impacting our lives, those of us who were responsible. So, it makes it a little more complicated than it should be. But I hear you though. I'm not too inclined to give a F myself.
No, like you saw, there was the radio host down in Florida who, he was a big anti-vaxxer, and on his deathbed, he's like, "Go get the vaccine." Well, too late, buddy.
Too late.
And good, bye. And I feel terrible. I think that, some kind of karmic penalty is coming for me. Something's going to be at the end going, "You shouldn't have done that." But I guess I don't care.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, you do care. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the reason you don't care about that is because you do care about the general public at large, and just us defeating this thing and making everyone's quality of life a little bit better. You care about that, which is why you don't care about that guy. So if there is a karmic retribution waiting for you, then we're all in trouble, brother, me especially, because it's a much more malevolent force waiting for us at the end of this ride than I have been bargaining on.
That is the hope. Now, I saw your most recent video. It made me laugh, as all of them do. And again, I hope folks will check out your YouTube page. You do incredible work. But you brought up this question of, how would the settlers think about, their kids have been dying from, all kinds of diseases that could be preventable. And they look at what would they say to us?
Yeah, you think about like the pioneers and the settlers and everything, and they had to take their lives and the lives of all their loved ones in their hands to pursue this better life, and traverse the continent at a time when that was really difficult to do so. And they're all getting cholera and bit by snakes and all this other stuff and just dying in droves. And I feel like they had cholera and smallpox and typhoid and tuberculosis and all this other stuff. And if you went back then and told them, I feel like if you went back then and told them, hey, in the future, we will know how to combat things like that, and we'll have very simple and efficacious measures in place to combat plagues but a huge chunk of the population will just choose not to do it. I think all of those settlers, most of whom couldn't read, by the way, would look at you and go, "Are you serious right now? Why on earth would you not? Please give me that. What is this magic you have unfurled in the future, oh Time Lord? Please share it with me so that I can save my family's life with it." And why in God's name are your future people refusing to partake in this? And yeah, I think that's what they would think. And again, they're not known for their intellectual capabilities, the settlers,
Yeah. Yeah, no, and neither are the people who haven't gotten the vaccine either. But the good
Right.
thing, I guess if there is a good thing that there are stupid people here, but there's stupid people all over the globe. I happened to see this story from England where a bunch of anti-vaxxers stormed a BBC building. Only problem is they went to the wrong address.
No, not the anti-vaxxers. What?
They
That doesn't sound like them to get a fundamental piece of information wrong and make a poor life choice based upon that. That can't be right, Rick. Come on.
I just had to laugh. But here's the weird thing, and you go back to what the settlers would think. They didn't have Fox News. They didn't have
Right.
a media culture that was going after them, feeding them BS. And my favorite story of the day came out of Business Insider came out with a story because of the Dominion voting systems lawsuit. They claimed that this OAN, this One American News,
Yeah.
they had an expert mathematician on. They had this expert mathematician on to talk about the election, and he came up with he said the probability of Biden's victory in a country was 1/10 to an exponent so large that there's not enough stars in the universe, there aren't enough atoms in the universe to explain the number. Problem is when not pretending to be a mathematician on OAN, this guy, what he does for a living, he sets up swing sets.
Yeah. I hadn't heard that particular story, and I had a feeling it might have an ending similar to the one that it had. Because I was thinking, listening to it, like, I could go on there and proclaim the exact opposite. I saw a clip of Mike Lindell earlier from his big computer symposium he had or whatever, where he was like, he was flipping the states in real time. And literally all it was just like, I turned this state a different color, and it wasn't white, which is weird, but it's just like, I'll change this state to a different color. See, Trump won. And people are all clapping and, and loving it and whatnot. And it's like, anyone can say that. And see, that's the problem with this whole group of people that buy into this stuff, is it's like they're the ones who say to us, do your research. You know what I mean? It's like watching YouTube with your mouth open ain't research. Like research is a whole different thing. But it goes even farther than that, because having a guy go on a network that proclaims itself to be a news network and say, I'm a mathematician, and they don't clarify, oh, actually he builds swing sets, and then he says a bunch of math stuff, old people are going to believe that. And that's the problem with disinformation. They don't think about how easy it would be for me to go on there. I can't even build swing sets, but I can make up a bunch of number stuff if I wanted to.
And that's the thing that gets me. And this is the problem with what's wrong with our media culture at this moment. Now, look, I guess
Right.
they don't have the budget that Fox News has to go out and buy an actual mathematician to sell his soul and spew whatever they want. So they just grabbed a guy who makes swing sets, and that seems to be okay. I don't know where to go with that other than.
No, I know. No, you're right. What are we supposed to do with that? Because yes, like you said, it's like all that matters is you say the thing that the target demographic wants to hear. So it doesn't matter that he's not an actual mathematician. It doesn't matter that he's a swing set doctor or whatever. He ain't even. No, he's a swing set mister. Whatever. But he goes on there and he says a bunch of number stuff that aligns with the type of numbers they were wanting to be presented with. And that's all that matters. Then you just go forward from there. That makes those numbers true. And that is the problem with our media today, because it didn't used to be, it really, really didn't. It used to be a time where like some things were true and some things were not, some things happened and some things didn't. But all that's just out the window now.
Yeah.
So
But
what
even
are
the
we
math
supposed
stuff,
to do
look,
with that?
I'm not a mathematician. I'll be the first one to tell you that. But when I start hearing it's 1/10 to the exponent so large, there aren't enough stars in the universe.
See,
There are only so many voters in Georgia.
right.
It's a fairly
Right.
small
Well,
state.
no, well, that's why they're smart about the particular swing set man they pick out to pretend to be their number doctor, is they get one that understands that you start throwing enough purported number facts out there and people are just like, yeah, probably, it's like I don't know what all them numbers mean. Again, I'm on the other side and I hear all them numbers and my eyes start to glaze over and I'm like, all right, okay, whatever. I don't even know how to begin to discredit that because of how astronomically ludicrous it sounds, so it's like you gotta gussy it all up with all these things that seem like facts but are not, but they sound smart. That's the key to unlocking that whole side of things. Is like,
Yep.
if you sound smart or you sound like what they think smart sounds like, then you're good.
Like
Good
Michael
to go.
Lindell. I mean, perfect example. If you
Right.
scream loud enough and you point your finger enough, and people are gonna on that side are gonna go, he must know what he's talking about.
Right. I was going to say this guy's emphatic, but they don't know what emphatic means. But yes, it's like, oh, this guy really knows what he's talking. This guy's telling it like it is. You could tell by how his finger looks when he points it and screams, So like, he must be telling the truth. What kind of lunatic would do that and not be telling the truth, And like, we're laughing at it, but that type of thing genuinely works on so many people, like unironically that works on them.
No, what's really,
don't.
no, I'm with you. And what's frustrating about it is we're all being robbed blind because there was a report came out today. And hey, good on us. Congratulations for us. We now have a CEO class that makes 351 times that of the average worker. They got a 19% raise in 2020.
I was about to say, what is that up from 322?
Yep.
A couple months ago or whatever.
Yeah. We broke 350. Hooray for us.
Yeah.
Pat on us for taking the lower wages, working in dangerous conditions. Good on us, man.
Yeah. Yeah, no, dude, it'll be 451 times by Christmas. You know what I mean? It'll be 603 times by the next Memorial Day. I mean, that's just what they do. Like, they just accumulate that and that's going to keep, as long as they keep all the people as long as they keep the preponderance of people who are getting screwed over by that type of culture, as long as they're keeping them upset at made up space numbers about Trump's election results, they're going to continue to get away with making more and more money off of their backs. And that's their whole deal.
And that's the thing that is insane to me, because most of the people I know who are the biggest Trump supporters, they're struggling. They really are struggling. They've been screwed by this economy, and yet they are the most ardent Trump supporters. The billionaire con man from New York is their guy. That's the horse they're backing, and it makes no sense to me.
Yeah, because all that stuff is Joe Biden's fault, Rick. He just got here, but it's still his fault. That's again, it goes back to the thing we're talking about, the problem with media and disinformation. There's almost nothing you can do in the face of that. I don't want to be apocalyptic about it, but like, when the other side can just tell them what they want to hear and say, no, it isn't our fault, it's actually their fault, and they can just say whatever they want and truth doesn't matter and they're going to believe it, then what are we supposed to do?
Yeah,
we're just
those immigrants
stuck in this position. They're going to keep believing that, like they can, the other side will just take credit for whatever and their base will believe it. And here we are.
Or they're just going to blame the immigrants.
That too. Yeah.
I mean,
right. Apparently COVID is the immigrants' fault and not even the Chinese immigrants. Hold the old school immigrants, the Mexican immigrants, the ones coming from down south. Yeah, I know that blows no, it doesn't. It doesn't blow my mind. It completely tracks. It's very much par for the course. But yeah, all these governors who are making it almost illegal to not catch COVID in states like Texas and Florida and Louisiana are at the same time trying to say that it's actually illegal immigrants that are to blame for the COVID surges while they make it illegal to make people wear masks or get vaccinated or whatever. And again, it's becoming the like unofficial catchphrase of our people at this point in time, or at least this segment on the show right now, which is, what are we supposed to do with that? You know what I mean? Like, it's so like, what do you even do? It's so far out there that like, you can call it stupid all the live long day, which I do. That's my whole job, and it's yours too. But like, where do we go from there, man?
Yeah, no, like I had a guy who was complaining that Obama had his 60th birthday party of all vaccinated people, and they were taking temperatures and trying to do what they can do, but was posting pictures about Bike Week in Sturgis.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Basically the same thing. Obama's birthday party and Sturgis. That Venn diagram is just two completely different circles, but sure, let's try to draw that parallel.
No, it's crazy. And I mean, the thing that's interesting is, we make fun of the South because it's so easy to do.
It's buddy, it's the easiest. Oh, I know. I mean, we make it real easy, I mean, first of all, just the way we say everything just makes it easy to make fun of, and that's fine. I get it. Hell, the thing is, I mean, dude, I do it too. I'll make fun of people for making fun of our accent. But like, if I started to tell you a story about a real dumb person I saw on the news or something, they could be from Milwaukee. And when I got to the part of the story where I quoted that person, I would be like, yeah. And then he was like, I'd start doing it in my accent, and I'm a victim of that same stereotype, and I do it. So, I mean, listen, man, I get it. We are easy.
No, just because right now I'm looking at where these next waves coming, the next spikes coming, and you go, we've been telling you guys. Why?
Right.
Why do we have to go through this?
Yeah, no, I know. But it's like, but I think about, like, I made that video today talking about Greg Abbott and going in on it, but I titled it, Texans deserve better, because I do try to remind myself, because like, I'm from Tennessee, man. Tennessee is like one of the worst right now, frankly. But it's like, I know, because I'm from there, that there are so many people from there or still living there or both that are just as upset by this, more so upset by this stuff than everybody else is, and I just try to keep them in mind, because I know that they exist, but I don't know how they're maintaining their sanity in times like these.
No, there are good people. There are good people in the South. I've met, hundreds of people that I know, good people, just surrounded by raving idiots. Liberal Redneck. Yep. Make sure you check out the website, TraeCrowder.com. Make sure you get to the YouTube channel. We'll get links out on how you can do that. Trae, always fun talking with you, man. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, Rick, always a pleasure. Thanks, man. I'll see you next time.
Good stuff, man. Trae Crowder. Make sure you check out the website, TraeCrowder.com. Quick break. Right back.
Remembering that united we bargain, divided we beg. Rick Smith.